Okay, it's been a while, but we're gonna do a tier ranking video. I can't remember the last time I did one. I mean, I know which video it was, but I think that might have been like half a year ago or something. I've debated a lot on how I wanted to do my end of the year wrap up for 2024 because at first I was gonna do just talking about the books I read in 2024, but then I'm just like, I don't want to edit that many photos into a video again like I did the first year. But then I saw a bunch of people doing tier ranking videos and then I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll just do this because I'm lazy. I feel like this is also a good time to be brutally honest because I wouldn't say my Goodreads ratings are completely inaccurate. It's just I'm the type of person who feels bad if I rate a book below 3 stars, and if I do rate it below 3 stars, there's a reason, but still feel kind of bad. So I feel like these tier ranking things are a good time for me to be like, this is how I really feel about a book. Okay, so I'm just gonna get started. I forget how to start screen recording on this thing. Okay, I think I got it. Let's get started. So I have, I think 7 tiers. So the first one is I very sadly didn't like it. You can decide how sincere those bracket words are. Second last one is readable, but not for me. None of these books I DNF'd, so obviously they were readable, but I could have just not liked them and still finished them. Next one is no memory. My 90-year-old brain is kicking in. My mom has this joke where I'm 19 going on 90 because I do sometimes act like an old woman and I have a really bad memory. Middle tier is wasn't the worst but wasn't the best, so like decent or mid or average sort of thing. Then we're getting into the ones where I would probably recommend. So this one is liked it, would recommend. Next one is loved it, will not shut up about it. The top one is permanent part of my personality. Okay, I'm just gonna get started. So the first one we have is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. Okay, this one was kind of a disappointment. I did kind of gaslight myself into liking this one because I liked Roman and Iris in the first book so much, and then I couldn't bring myself to rate this one below a 4. But if I'm being completely honest, if I read it again, I would probably rate it like lower than a 4-star. Wasn't the worst, but wasn't the best. It was so disappointing. Like, I wish the ending was better. It just felt like such a cliche fantasy ending. Wasn't it just like Iris stabbed someone with a sword? I don't know if I want to spoil that much. Next one is The Storied Life of AJ Figgery. I'd say readable, but not for me. It was like really sweet and short. And at the time, I think I sort of liked it, but I could have done without it. Next one is Powerless. Please don't kill me for this one. Okay, so I think I've said this multiple times over this year, but Powerless was just so repetitive for me. I didn't like the romance. I mean, I probably liked it in the beginning, but as I kept reading, it got so repetitive. It's just like they would gaze across a room and have eye contact with each other like 10 times, 20 times throughout this book. And I was like, okay, we already went through this. Can we do something else now? The action scenes were also really repetitive. Like the same moves kept getting described over and over again. It was just so many tropes filled into one book. Next one is The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. This is another one I kind of gaslighted myself into liking. I put it with Ruthless Vows. It just took me so long to get into this one. I'm actually the type of person who likes world building. This world building was so boring though, and I have no clue why. Maybe I'm just not into the writing style. I did really like the couple in this book. I love Liam, and I watched this movie so much when I was younger. And I am still gonna read the second book. It's just this first book took me so long to get into. Next one is This Time It's Real by Anne Liang. I probably put it in this tier. This isn't my favorite Anne Liang book, but I really liked it still. I don't normally like fake dating, but this one's like kind of an exception. Also, Anne Liang's contemporary romance books are always so good. Okay, next one is The Savage Song. I'm like debating on whether to put in like the top tier or the second top tier. I think I put the first book in this duology in the top tier, and then the second book the second tier, because I still really like the second book. It's just I love the ending, but I also wish it ended differently. And then the first book, I love the subtle romance bits and like the bleacher scenes. Also, V.E. Schwab is just one of my favorite authors in general. Okay, next 3 books are from the Percy Jackson series, so I did end up finishing the Percy Jackson series near the beginning of the year. The first 2 books I read in 2023. This one I also tried to convince myself to love it. I liked it. It's just if I read it again now, I think I would rate it lower probably. I think I might have been too old when I first started this, because normally people read it in like middle school or something. I was in my, I think, first year of university when I finished this. I rated them all a 5 out of 5 for some reason. I just probably wouldn't rate it as highly now. So I think The Last Olympian, I'm gonna put it in liked it, would recommend, but then the other 2 books I'm gonna put in wasn't the worst but wasn't the best. The Battle of the Labyrinth though. Wasn't that the one where Percy got like shot off to some weird island and then had like a mini romance with the girl who was stuck on the island? That bugged me so much. I would definitely rate that one lower. It's just like that part was so irritating to me. The next one we have is Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I think I'd put it in liked it, would recommend, maybe in front of Percy Jackson. Out of all of V.E. Schwab books, this is probably my least favorite because there was no romance in it. I definitely need a romance in a book to like fully enjoy it, but it also wasn't bad. I really like the found family in this book. Next one is A Darker Shade of Magic, the entire trilogy. So I would put the first book in liked it, would recommend. The second book, I'd put it in the top tier probably, along with The Savage Song. I really like the second book because of the subplot romance and like the tournament. I wasn't expecting there to be a tournament because I don't read the back of books anymore. So it was like such a jump scare, but it was so good. A Conjuring of Light, I put in Loved It, Will Not Shut Up About It. I'm not sure if I'm just the type of person who doesn't like finishing a series or doesn't like the ending of a series that I love, but I also think that this ending could have been better. I thought it was still really good, just slightly underneath the second book in the trilogy. Okay, next one is the All for the Game series, the first 3 books. I still haven't read the Sunshine Court. Okay, we're just gonna casually put these at the top. I love the subplot romance in these though. It was so good. It was the first time I think in a while I got like that adrenaline rush feeling where it's just like my whole head was like buzzing and it's just like, oh my god, I love this so much. I never wanted to end, which is why I haven't read the Sunshine Court yet, because I don't want it to end. But then apparently there's a 5th book coming out, so I don't need to be afraid of it ending anymore. But oh my god, no, this series was so good. If you get really into it and end up loving it, it will become one of your favorites. Next one is the Captive Prince trilogy. Okay, I read this trilogy because AFTG put me in a reading slump because I loved it so much, and I saw this one was similar to the Foxhole Court, which is why I read it. It did get me out of my reading slump and it was really interesting. The thing was, the first book had things in it don't exactly approve of. Like, this is one of those books I rated a 2-star, not because I didn't finish it, but because, oh my god, no, there was just so many things in this book that were so problematic, even for me. So I'm gonna put the first book in readable, but not for me. But then obviously I enjoyed it enough where I went on to the second book. So the second book I would put in liked it, would recommend. But then the third book, I'd say wasn't the worst, but wasn't the best. I feel like it could have ended a bit differently. Again, this third book also had some problematic things in it. The Summer Palace, which is also in the Captive Prince trilogy, I would put in wasn't the worst, but wasn't the best either. Actually, would I? What even happened in this book? Never mind, we're changing it. I fully can't remember. No memory. Oh my god, next one is More Than We Can Tell by Bridget Kemmerer. Bridget Kemmerer's contemporary romance books are so good. I still like Letter to the Lost better, which I read in 2023, but this one was still really good. So I think I would put it in either Loved It, Will Not Shut Up About It, or Liked It, Would Recommend. Maybe at the bottom of Loved It, Will Not Shut Up About It. I'm probably gonna switch some things around at the end of this video. Next one is Call It What You Want. This one was probably my least favorite out of Bridget Kemmerer's contemporary romance books because there was just such a frustrating quality about this book that I can't really put my finger on. Like, I don't remember too much that happened, but I remember feeling frustrated, so I'm just gonna put it in wasn't the worst, but wasn't the best. Red, White, and Royal Blue. I think I'd put it in Liked It, Would Recommend. I wish the couple hadn't gotten together so soon, but I still liked it when they were together. I liked it more when they weren't together and they were doing like the text messages and emails. I still need to watch this movie. Next one is The Boy Who Steals Houses by C.G. Drews. Okay, I really like this book, but I don't know if I'd put it on the same tier as A Thousand Perfect Notes, because A Thousand Perfect Notes, I would definitely put it in Loved It, Will Not Shut Up About It. The Boy Who Steals Houses, I don't know if I would put it at the top of Liked It, Would Recommend, or if I'd put it at the bottom of Loved It, Will Not Shut Up About It. I did rate this one the same as A Thousand Perfect Notes, but if I'm being honest, I think I would lower it to like a 4.5 or a 4.75 because it's not my favorite of C.G. Drews anymore. For now, we'll put it at the top of Liked It, Would Recommend. Next one is A Cuban Girl's Guide to Teen Tomorrow. Oh my god, okay, I was searching up like the book covers for this video yesterday. Did anyone know that they're making a movie of this? Like, I had no clue. I saw something in like movie will be released and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, wait, what? But anyways, I would probably put it in Liked It, Would Recommend. This is a very like cozy summer book, and I really like the romance in it. I thought it was really cute. Next one is Turtles All the Way Down. Something just annoyed me about this book. I think it might have been the main character and the best friend, and then the romance in here was cute while it lasted, but then near the ending, so frustrating. I don't know. I could understand why it ended, like the romance. I'd put it in readable, but not for me. I don't know. It was my first time reading a John Green book. Next one is Defy the Night. Okay, I'd probably put it in readable, but not for me. I wanted to try a Bridget Kemmerer fantasy book because she has kind of shifted over to fantasy ever since she finished writing all her contemporary romance books, which is really sad because I really want her to write another contemporary romance book, but I don't know if it's ever going to happen again. I just check her Goodreads account repeatedly to see if she ever will, but so far she hasn't. Defy the Night, it definitely wasn't bad, but it's just like I wasn't tempted to read the sequel or anything, and I definitely could have done without reading it this year at all. Plus, I didn't like how the couple in the beginning, it was like they already liked each other. There was a secret identity thing. The feelings got confessed so quickly that it just bugged me. There was no slow burn, let's just say that. Next one is Imogen Obviously by Becky Albertalli. Oh my god, I love this book and I love the couple in it. I'd probably put it in either Loved It, Will Not Shut Up About It, or Liked It, Would Recommend. But then there was the part near the ending. Oh, and then I don't know, maybe Liked It, Would Recommend. The Diviners, I think I liked it at the time, but if I think about it now, I'd probably consider it to be readable, but not for me. I thought I was going to read the sequel, but then I just never got the urge to read it. And then the mystery part, I don't know, it just didn't make too much sense to me because there was like fantasy elements in this too, and it kind of confused me. And then I searched up online, spoiled myself on who the main couple would be, and I'm just like, did they have chemistry? Like, did they? Next one is Night of the Dragon. I put that in wasn't the worst, but wasn't the best. This was the third book in the Shadow of the Fox series. I remember liking the ending, but I also think the ending could have been better or like different. So many people died in that book. It was so sad. Next one is Binding 13. There were some good things about this book and there were some not so great things, I feel like. I think I rated rate this a 4.25, but if I read it again, I might rate it lower. I don't know, near the beginning of the year, I was kind of just like trying to convince myself I like certain books, but ever since starting booktube, I've kind of gotten better about that, obviously. There were some things about this book that I really did like though, so wasn't the worst but wasn't the best, or liked it, would recommend. I don't know, I think I'll put it in wasn't the worst but wasn't the best for now, before the coffee gets cold. Okay, this one wasn't for me. There are so many other books in this series and I just don't feel like reading them because this first book didn't really intrigue me that much. Fable, what happened in Fable? This was the pirate ship one, right? I was just so bored of this book that I can't even remember what happened, if I'm being honest. I think I was trying to get out of a reading slump at the time. That might have been why. I think I also tried really hard to like the romance in this book, but I can't remember why I didn't like it. I don't know, that's me problems. Next one, Vampire Academy. Oh my god, it's been a while. Actually, it hasn't really been that long. I have the second book on my shelf too, and I was planning on reading it eventually. I think I have to put it in no memory. I can hardly remember what even happened in this book. One Dark Window. Okay, I think I'd put this in either wasn't the worst or readable, but not for me. I don't know. I think there was just so much hype around this book that I expected way too much, and then when I finally read it, it just felt like nothing to me. I did think like the whole concept of the story was really good and the writing was really good. The only character I liked in this book though was I think one of the side princes and then the actual monster in her head, but then that was pretty much it. I'm gonna put it in readable, but not for me. I don't know. When I finished this, I didn't want to read the second book. Okay, Sunreach by Brandon Sanderson. I'm gonna put this in permanent part of my personality. Not gonna lie, the Skyward novellas are actually a permanent part of my personality because I love them so much. They were one of the best parts of the entire series. Like if you're having trouble getting through the third book of this series, just do it for the novellas, honestly, because that's what I did and I ended up loving them. Okay, Read On and Evershore I didn't like as much as Sunreach, but I still love them, so I'm gonna put it in loved it, will not shut up about it. I think if I reread Read On now, I would probably rate it higher because there was a really good subplot romance in here, but at the time I was like, do I really like this romance? Because almost nothing happened, which I love, but at the same time I wanted something to happen. And these novellas were just so good though. Defiant I'd put in liked it, would recommend. I did think the ending to the series wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. I still think it was better done than Cytonic, so I'm glad I got through it. Not Even Bones. Okay, at the time I did rate this series like a 4-star. I think I put the first book in wasn't the worst but wasn't the best. I did like the whole idea of it. Her mom betrayed her, she got sold to the black market. But then the second book I'd probably put in no memory. I literally have no clue what happened in that second book, and I probably will never read the third book. The only reason I read the series to begin with, or the first 2 books in the series, was because I heard it was similar to V.E. Schwab's books. Now we're getting into the Abby Jimenez books. Abby Jimenez was literally one of the best things that happened to me last year. One of my favorite romance authors now, auto by author. Part of Your World, I think I'll put it in loved it, will not shut up about it. Then Yours Truly is honestly one of my least favorite Abby Jimenez books, even though I love Jacob so much. The ending just irritated me. Again, I'm not that much into fake dating, and then, oh, is this a spoiler? There was kind of like a pregnancy trope. So I think I put it in liked it, would recommend. I still really love the love interest and I love Brie. Then Just for the Summer, I'd probably put it in the same tier as Part of Your World. There really was no particular trope in this book, which I love, and the third act breakup was probably the least frustrating. Next one is The Situationship. I'd probably put it in liked it, would recommend. This was Doug's and Maddie's relationship. I wish we'd gotten a whole book about them and that it would have been a bit more slow burn, but Abby Jimenez's short stories are always so good. Because The Worst Wingman I would put in loved it, will not shut up about it. I'm really just a sucker for letters in books. Like I went through this phase a week ago where I searched up online contemporary romance books with letters in it because I just wanted a book with letters in it so badly. Next one is Loveless by Alice Oseman. This was a recommendation from a couple of people actually, and it was really good. I think I'd put it in liked it, would recommend. I've always wanted to read an Alice Oseman book though, so this was my first time reading one. So good. I can't wait to read more of her books. Next one is The Cheat Sheet. Oh, this book was really like a cheesy rom-com, but at the same time I can't remember anything that happened in it other than a football player and a ballerina fell in love and then they were friends lovers. They got married at the end. That bugged me too. I don't know if I remember enough of this book to judge it though. I think I'm gonna put it in no memory because other than the ending where they got married, can't remember much. And also I don't want to judge it based off the ending because I'm not the biggest fan of people getting married at the end of books. Next one is the Aristotle and Dante duology. Oh my god. Okay, so I put the first book in loved it, will not shut up about it because the couple got together at the end and then the book ended. Loved it so much. The second book, I think I would put it in the same tier as the first book maybe. Or maybe I'd put it in liked it, would recommend. I think I'm gonna put it in liked it, would recommend because this entire book was just them being together, but then there was also some frustrating parts that I didn't really like, but I still rated it a 5 out of 5 because I like this author's writing and I also just really like this couple. Next one, She Drives Me Crazy. I am sadly gonna put this at the bottom tier even though I really wanted to like it. I think I'm just not a fan of cheesy rom-coms. I'm not sure because this had such a rom-com ending and then this couple was so frustrating and then I just wasn't convinced, I guess, about the enemies to lovers because the enemies part was convincing, the lovers part wasn't so convincing. I just didn't feel the chemistry whatsoever. Next one, Funny Story. I think I liked the first half of this book, or I liked the beginning. The middle was okay. The ending, not not too memorable to me and also kind of frustrating. Wasn't this one also fake dating? Oh boy, okay. I think I'm gonna put it in wasn't the worst but wasn't the best. I liked it when I started it and then it just kind of went downhill from there. My Lady Jane. What do I do with this one? I'd probably put it in no memory because the only reason I read this book was to watch the show, and then I just never ended up watching the show because this book just wasn't memorable to me whatsoever, and I don't remember a single thing other than the animal shifting thing. Cinder. I don't know where I'd put Cinder because this was a reread for me, and the Lunar Chronicles has always been like such a staple from my childhood. I think I'd put it in Loved It, Will Not Shut Up About It. It is one of those books where if like a person starts out reading, I'd probably recommend one of Marissa Meyer's books or like Cinder. I don't think I'd put it in the top tier though because I've read so many other books since I read that series that there are just so many others that are on top of it now. Next one, Unsteady by Peyton Corin. No memory. I have no memory of this book. Oh my god, I'm trying so hard to remember right now. I cannot remember anything other than like one of the characters having anxiety. I can't even remember which one. It might have been both of them for all I know. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. If I'm being completely honest, I would put this at the bottom tier. If I reread this, definitely would rate it lower. It was so boring to me. It was so boring. I wanted to like it so badly too because I was kind of on this roll, I guess, of liking cozy fantasies. It's just the couple in this one, I did not feel it. I really did not feel it. I thought Wendell was so irritating and annoying, and then I guess I just wasn't obsessed with the couple. Also, the ending of this book was whack. I have no clue what happened in that ending there or where the hell the author was trying to go, but it was just so crazy. Next one, The Oracle Queen by Kendra Blake. This is part of the Three Dark Crown series, which I read I think in like grade 8 or something, and I ended up loving. The Oracle Queen, I think I would put in Liked It, Would Recommend. I really did like this one because there was like potential for romance in it, but the romance never ended up happening, but I still like the fact that there was potential for it, you know? And then The Young Queens, do not remember what happened in that book. I think this one was about the three main characters from the original trilogy when they were younger, but literally nothing in this book happened for me because I can't remember anything. And Emma and the Ashes by Sabatier. Okay, I'd put this one in probably Liked It, Would Recommend. And then the second book, A Torch Against the Night, also probably put it in Liked It, Would Recommend. Or maybe I'd put the first book in Loved It, Will Not Shut Up About It, but I'm not sure about that honestly. I did rate these first two books like the same rating. After I finished the second book, I really don't have any urge to read the third and fourth book anytime soon, even though I will read them eventually. And I did like the first book because of the romance. Then the second book, I didn't really know how to feel about the romance, but I'm the type of person where if I like the first book, I'm gonna try to convince myself to like the second book sort of thing. If I read the second book again, would probably rate that one lower. So I think I'm just gonna put the first two books in the same tier. Dark Matter, oh my god. Okay, bottom tier. I feel like I'm gonna die for most of these in the bottom tier, but it's just like Dark Matter. It took me so long to get through the first 100 pages. I tried the second time continuing from the first 100 pages. I just really couldn't get into it. This is definitely one of those books I should have DNF'd probably, but I was just so stubborn at the time. It's just like people rave about this book so much, and then I wanted to like it so badly, but just like no, I couldn't. I really couldn't, and I'm so sorry. Okay, Immortal Longings was so good. I'd probably put it in Liked It, Would Recommend. So good, and the ending was so good. And one of the side romances, I still need to read the second book, which hopefully I'm gonna get to this year because I really want to. And the magic system in this book was really interesting. It was my first time reading a Chloe Gong book, and I'm definitely gonna read more of her books this year because this one left such a good impression on me. Like I still remember feeling chills at the ending. Okay, next few books we have is The Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I love this series so much. Okay, the first book, I think I'd put it in Liked It, Would Recommend, because if I reread this first book compared to all the other books in the series, I would probably rate it lower, but at the time I rated it a 5 because I think it might have gotten me out of a reading slump. I can't remember, but I enjoyed it so much. Killer Instinct, I'd probably put it in the same tier maybe, or Loved It, Will Not Shut Up About It. I'll think about that one for a bit, but I'll put it there for now. All In, I love All In. Oh my god, I would definitely put this one in Loved It, Will Not Shut Up About It. And like the ending to this one, chills, also chills. It was so good. Bad Blood, I think the ending could have been better. The third book out of the entire series was probably my favorite. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. So 12, what even happened in 12? Honestly, I wouldn't say I don't remember anything, but this is probably my least favorite out of the series, and it's a novella, which is fair. That is probably my least favorite, but at the same time, I'm kind of like one of those people who like novellas if they're really well done. This one I'd say wasn't the worst, but wasn't the best. I think it could have been like the different perspectives in this book could have been a bit more well written, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it. Okay, sorry, we got interrupted earlier, but I have to be quick about these last few because my parents are coming home soon because they're picking up my brother from school. I probably only have like 20 minutes here, so I'm gonna be quick. So we only have like 7 more. The Downstairs Girl by Stacey Lee. I think I'll put it in Like It Would Recommend. There was a really good subplot romance in here and they never ended up together, which is honestly great in my opinion, but at the same time, I kind of wish there was a bit more romance, but I think it was a good amount considering it is like a historical fiction and there were other things going on. Next one is None Shall Sleep. That's also going in the same tier as The Downstairs Girl. This was my first other mystery book other than The Naturals. Honestly, I think this is even more Criminal Minds than The Naturals. I don't know, I just get that feeling because this was mainly focusing on profilers. Winter Song by S.J. Jones. If I think about it now, I'd say it's readable, but not for me. I don't really feel like reading the second book now. Also, I like forced my way through the audiobook when I was reading this one because I first tried reading the paperback, couldn't do it. So then tried listening to the audiobook. I was just so bored the entire time. You and Me by Tal Bauer. I think that's going in. Loved it, will not shut up about it. This was my first Tal Bauer book. I absolutely loved the couple in this one. Oh my god, and then the last 3 books we have are part of the Heaven Official's Blessing series. I love this series so much. Absolutely going in the top tier because this series is one of my favorites now. I love every single one of these books and you cannot convince me otherwise. Okay, I think that's all the books. I might switch some things around. For the 3rd Percy Jackson book, The Titan's Curse, I don't really think it's fair for me to put it in the middle tier because I don't really remember what happened in it. The Last Olympian, I was looking at all the other books in this tier and I feel like it doesn't really match with them, I guess. So I'm gonna put it in wasn't the worst but wasn't the best. I really did like the Percy Beth moments in it, but then the other moments, it's just like I could probably care less about, honestly. I still need to watch the Percy Jackson show. That's the whole reason I read this entire series in the first place. I think Gallant is gonna move to the wasn't the worst but wasn't the best tier. Okay, A Torch Against the Night. I was also thinking about that one. Okay, it's really weird because I remember so many things that happened in the first book, but then the second book, I honestly can't remember much. So I don't really think it's fair for me to put it in that tier because before I was kind of like, does it belong in this tier with the first book sort of thing? But then I tried thinking about what the hell happened in this book. Can't remember whatsoever. So going down in the no memory for me, Defy the Night by Bridget Kemmerer, I think I'm gonna put in the bottom tier. I can't really say what I liked about it either, so it's gonna go in the bottom tier. Okay, I think that's it. I'm gonna switch some things around. Like, I think I'm gonna put the Heaven Official's Blessing at the top of the permanent part of my personality. I think A Gathering of Shadows would go at the bottom of this tier. And then for Loved It Will Not Shut Up, let's see here. Okay, I think the second tier is good now. Sorry, I'm just switching books around now. Honestly, I have no idea what's going on with that third tier. I'm just gonna say that's good for now. With Wasn't the Worst, Wasn't the Best. Oh my god, I did think about Funny Story too. I might put it in readable, but not for me. When it comes to fake dating, I don't think this is an exception for me. So then for the rest, I have no idea what's happening here. And then for the no memory, I can't really do anything about that one. And then for the readable, not for me. Yeah, that looks all right. And then out of the bottom tier, which one would I have liked the best? Yeah, no, that looks about right. Okay, these are the final rankings. How do I shrink my screen? Can you guys see? Yeah, there we go. That's all the books. I think this looks okay. I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I believe that's all the 76 books I read in 2024 tier ranked. And yeah, that's pretty much it. My parents are gonna come soon, so I gotta go. I hope you guys enjoyed and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.